Hey there, Doc. Dr. Scott Doherty from ChiroLaunch coming to you here with the second trigger of the 14 triggers we're going to be talking about in creating a ChiroLaunch in your own life. And today's trigger goes right along with the last trigger we talked about, which was quit trying harder, quit banging your head against the wall. And today we're going to be talking about ignoring common methods. In order to really create what I call a ChiroLaunch, or jumping from one level to the next, you've got to ignore what everybody else is doing. You've got to do something different. Typically, chiropractors get reasonable results because they try reasonable methods. They get, modest growth because they really don't go searching for anything more. But if you really want this launch process in your life, you want to just take off, you've got to completely abandon the status quo. Instead of doing all the things that you've always done, or seeing what everybody else is doing, which is what most chiropractors I talk to, that they see what everybody else is doing and they try to copy them. But instead of doing those things with maybe more intensity or more determination, similar to the fly that we keep talking about, who just continues to beat at that window and harder. Instead of doing that, a ChiroLaunch really requires an abrupt change in your behavior. You've got to look for a different move, and very often you've got to completely reverse your field. And I talk about this with clients all the time. A client will tell me they're so close to where they want to get to, and they just can't break through. And I talk about that a lot. And I always tell them, they feel like they're stuck in this box, if you will. They're trying to move forward, but they can't get there. And they don't really see any other way to get there. But they can see their goal. They can see over the wall, if you will, and they can see what they want. But I always tell them, in order to take a step towards the goal, they need to take 2 steps backwards. If they just took 2 steps backwards and took a deep breath and looked, there might be a different way, easier way to get to their goal. And it's typically the case. Again, go back to the fly. If that fly would just back up off the window and look around, it would see the door open, and it would be an easy thing there. So ignoring the common methods, because again, every other fly is beating their head up against that window as well, and every other chiropractor is doing the same things out there. So in this case, if you're trying to climb over a wall, just open up a door and walk through it. If you feel like you're swimming upstream, which I hear a lot. I see a lot of stress, a lot of burnout out there. People feel like they're spinning their wheels or swimming upstream. If that's the case, turn around, reverse your field, and just go with the flow. A lot of times, that's what's going to help get you there, is making things easier. This launch process is characterized by finesse, not by effort. It's really not, again, back to the first trigger. It's not about keep trying harder and harder. It's find a more elegant solution. The tendency that we have when we're stuck in that box and we're trying to move forward is to go back to the basics, right? And you hear a lot of consultants even tell you that. Go back to the basics. Probably the worst thing you can do in this place. If we go back to what we've always done, for what we know to work, it just kind of it continues to make that rut that we're stuck in. It doesn't matter how hard you do the things that you know how to do if it's the wrong thing to do. So if you just keep on repeating those things over and over again, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's why we got to ignore those common things. A lot of you know I come from the E-Myth world. I spent 3 years in the E-Myth Mastery Program learning how to run E-Myth style businesses, and they always talk about, if there's a ladder up against the wall, and you climb it and you're very good at climbing it, it doesn't matter if you get to the top and you realize you're up against the wrong wall. You've got to get the ladder up against the right wall. So in this case, you've got to have the right strategy to get where you're trying to get to. This ChiroLaunch process is made up of an elegant solution. You're going to find that you're going to see simplicity, precision, efficiency, neatness in this solution. And quite honestly, it's going to be less demanding of your time, of your energy, than the previous way. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, that's a tough road. When you find the right answer, this elegant solution, it's going to be less demanding of your time, of your energy. You're going to feel better about it. You're going to enjoy the process, and you're going to get there a lot faster. The path of least resistance is very, very important here. Trust me, you can do more with less effort. Okay, I hope you're enjoying the videos. I always love to see the comments down below. I look forward to talking to you on the next one. Thank you for joining me for this video series on the 14 tips or tricks on creating a ChiroLaunch experience in your own practice and in your own life. Before you go, I just want to take a quick second and explain to you about a service that I offer, kind of my flagship product. As most of you know, I travel around the country pretty frequently. I'm out there meeting with doctors, doing on-site evaluations, picking up new CrossFit t-shirts, enjoying new restaurants, and I really enjoy my travel. And as I'm out there, I do these initial practice evaluations that I call them, where I actually come on site. I meet with you in your office, and I get a lot of questions about what exactly happens when I do these evaluations. So I'll make it quick, but briefly, I just come in, I meet with you. You give me a tour of the office, kind of show me how you practice. I get to see the flow of your practice. I get to see what kind of equipment you use, what kind of equipment you don't use. And then we sit down, we go over basically everything about your practice, your statistics, your billing procedures, your marketing. We talk about your staff. We pretty much go over everything. Typically takes anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes to get all that done. From that point, I take off, usually go back home, and I draw up a little action plan for you. That action plan is step by step, sequentially, what I would do if I were you, if I were in your position over the next 6 to 12 months, depending on the situation. I get called into a lot of specialty situations, so a lot of guys that looking to sell their practice, looking to bring an associate on, looking to add a new service, whether it be massage or physical therapist or even an MD. Transitions is kind of my specialty, so that's why I get called into a lot. So again, depending on the situation, depends on how long the action plan is going to take. So a few days later, I email it over to you. We get on the phone. I walk you right through it, tell you exactly what I would do if I were you. And again, as I'm traveling around, I used to charge $9.95 for these evaluations. People used to call me when I first started consulting, fly me out. For $9.95, I do this evaluation. These days, since I travel so much and I've kind of figured out how to travel and do it on the cheap, I do them for much lower prices. So I always have a special promotion going on if I'm going to be in your area. I'm sure there's a link down below, so go ahead and click on that. That's going to take you to a new page explaining to you again what's going on right now in my life, where I'm going to be, what my schedule's like, and how you can take advantage of that opportunity to have me come into your practice and do that evaluation at a very special price. So keep enjoying the videos. I'll talk to you soon.